British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Hello again. Welcome back to BCIT News. I'm Riley Cunningham, and here are your 11:30 headlines. There's been a third shooting at a Surrey restaurant embroiled in claims of extortion. Cap's Cafe, a restaurant belonging to Indian celebrity Kapil Sharma, was first shot at shortly after its opening in July of this year. It was then targeted again in August. Nobody was injured in any of the shootings, but staff were on site when the third shooting took place. The police are urging anyone with information or dashcam footage of the incident to reach out. The BC Professional Employees Association is getting set to expand their strike. Contract talks broke down yesterday after the association said the province wasn't prepared to improve their offer of a general wage increase of 3.5% over 2 years. Although some workers joined the BCGEU picket lines after their strike action began on September 2nd, 1,600 professionals will be on the picket lines starting today. Speaking of the BCGEU, 6 weeks into the strike, the union and the provincial government have not come to an agreement. Our reporter Kai Garcia has more on how this delay makes local businesses pay the price.
Local businesses are struggling as negotiations between the BCGEU and the BC government collapse once again. This marks the second month into the strike, forcing the service and liquor industry to think twice about what to offer consumers. Rising costs, limited options, and shortage in stock makes it harder for these businesses to make ends meet or satisfy their customers, making them wonder if everything will go back to normal anytime soon. Kai Garcia, BCIT News.
There's still no telling when the strike will end, as the union feels their needs are not being met. Have you ever wondered what bats in the province are up to? As it turns out, apparently they've got it out for joggers. Our reporter Braden Goodman is live in studio to chat with us today about the flighty little creatures. Thanks so much for joining us, Braden.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, we spoke about how bats are the only known reservoir for rabies in BC. What does that mean?
Well, this means that they're the only primary animal population that carries the rabies virus. So while rabies can be occasionally spread from bats to other species, there is no evidence of a sustained reservoir other than the bats in BC.
Very interesting. I guess we're not a very rabies-heavy province. Are bats dangerous in the sense that a lot of bats have rabies?
The short answer is no. According to Fraser Health, that it's estimated that less than 1% of the bat population carries the rabies virus.
Wow. Alrighty. So I guess that's really not a lot. Now, my last question for you today. We all know the Halloween stereotypes. Is it true that bats drink blood?
Yes. While there are 3 species of bats that do, in fact, eat blood, there are over 1,400 different species. And there are no species in Canada that eat blood. All the bats that can be found in Canada eat primarily insects and other arthropods, and primarily flying insects. And a bat can eat over 1,000 mosquitoes in 1 hour.
Oh my goodness. Well, they're about to become my new best friends. Thanks so much for all that information today, Braden. I'm looking forward to your story later today.
Thank you.
All right. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ontario Premier Doug Ford are clashing today over tariffs. Ford is arguing that the Prime Minister should hit the U.S. with similar tariffs, but Carney says negotiation is key right now.
What will make the biggest difference, not just to those sectors, but to all of Ontario, all of Canada, which is where we end up with the review, following the review of the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement, which is coming very shortly. So the strategy has to take all of that into account and deliver the results.
Carney says now is the time to speak to the White House to advance positive relations. Back to the weather here. The temperature looks like it'll be leveling out throughout the weekend and early into next week. Thanks again for tuning into BCIT News. I'm Riley Cunningham, and Joe McHugh will be back at 12:30 for more news.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Burgers and belonging. How Langley's Burger Fest brings cultures to the same table. We're your hosts, Braden Goodman.
And Aiden Singh.
This is Langley Burger Fest.
I'm Taylor. I'm a sous chef for Trading Post Brewing.
I'm Haran Pereira. I'm the executive chef here at the Barley Merchant.
My name is Donovan. Donovan Dick, chef and co-owner of Omni Lang.
I really think that this is a good way for other smaller businesses to, because when you're competing, you want to put your best foot forward, obviously, and I think it's a great way to grow a market for the smaller businesses.
Bringing the community together is always good. When it comes to getting together, eating is the easiest way to get everybody.
To get all the independently operated restaurants to collaborate to bring people out to Langley and just showcase all the awesome independent owners out there, right?
Like, everybody wants to go around to all the other small businesses and try what they've created, and in a way it just really helps grow the small business aspect.
Everybody kind of on the same page and collaboratively work together. So, because with the Burger Month, the goal is to try to get everybody out to each of those locations, right? We live in, a part of BC that is honestly overwhelmed with chains. Like, they dominate the market, right? They have better buying power. Like, they're able to do things on a different scale than we are. And we really need to highlight all the cool independent restaurants out there and tell their story.
So the growth of Langley, Fort Langley in general, it's been awesome. It's been great, if I'm being completely honest. Like, it is very exciting to see, and I think it's just getting better.
By the end of this podcast, we'll go in between the buns and show you the big bite of what's happening out in Langley. Once thought as just another stop along the number 1 highway, how it's turning itself into a culinary destination where culture and food collide. So Aiden and I had the pleasure of sampling some of Langley's finest culinary burger experiences. But throughout this, we found the same kind of theme of how culture and food really bring people together. So Aiden, what did you learn about this whole experience?
Well, in terms of culture and food bringing people together, I learned that, obviously, I remember when I was younger and I was in the kitchen watching my parents cook, sure, but there's a different sort of passion in these kitchens where they're blending together different aspects of culture with maybe things that they're not so familiar with. I've learned that Langley's scene is actually exploding, and that this city that used to just be a stop along the way, something you'd pass through and think nothing more, is building something, is becoming something real, something very beautiful in front of me.
Food is one of those earliest memories. It's something that we can all relate to. And Langley is such a uniquely located area where it's farm to table. It's got some of the best suppliers of local cuisine right there in its own backyard.
Braden, I think over the last week we've seen and we've done a lot. We've heard a lot of voices, but you're from this area. This means something real to you. This is in your backyard.
Born and bred.
So I want to ask you, what does this mean to Langley?
It's putting us on the map. When I grew up, it was a lot of chain restaurants, White Spot, The K, Old Spaghetti Factory. That was kind of where we got together as a family. We'd go out, birthday dinners, celebrate time with family. Aiden, culture and food, they almost go hand in hand, because at the end of the day, food, it's such a human experience. It's one of our earliest memories. That's a theme that we kept coming back to in our journey of how food really brings people together.
If you think of probably any happy time in your life, you are probably around a table with a bunch of food, right? So food brings people together. It's the most honest and true form of, you don't even have to think about it. You put food in front of people, or put food on a table, and people are going to sit down together, regardless if they know each other or not, right? So it's down to our basics of human nature. Of that's how you bring people together, it's through food. And you can tell a story, whether it be, your own cooking, your grandma's cooking, something that you had while you were on a trip, whatever. You're always going to tell a story through the food that you're sitting down with, right? And then you're probably going to remember that down the road.
Food is something that brings people together. And Donovan Dick, head chef at Omni, said it best: breaking bread.
To break bread with people, you know what I mean? That's as old as time. Is the, if you ever think of any story or anything where you have, whether it's a friend or you're meeting somebody new, offering them something to eat or eating with them, breaking bread with them, that's not only signifying like a handshake or a hug, it's also let's all settle down here. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Let's have something. Are we hungry? Right? It is that way that you can reach out and just say, hey, before we get into anything else, let's make sure we're fed.
What does that mean to you, Aiden?
It means a lot because my family, we care a lot about our social gatherings. We're not able to get out nearly as much as we should, but when we do, there's something going on. There's something happening. And I've always felt right at home there, of course, but when we're having our extended families, come over, and someone brings over a new fiance, a girlfriend.
Ow.
We're introducing someone into the family. They don't speak the language, mind you, and they don't look like we do. And I guarantee you they're not used to the flavor. But they're still eating it, and there's still a smile on their face. We're still laughing and joking. And so it can show you how food can normalize these differences, how everyone looks the same when they're eating, right?
I mean, hey, we can all agree, food really is the universal language. One thing that really stood out to me was the Barley Merchant, of how they utilized their staff's, ethnic background. They've got a lot of Korean influence in that kitchen. And how Haran Pereira, how he was able to kind of tap into that and create that kimchi burger that we were very, very humble to get a sample of.
So impressed by it. That was beautiful.
How incredible was it to infuse that bun with kimchi?
Yeah, pulling inspiration like that from your staff is just magical.
And the elevation of the in-house black garlic really brought that mayo to the next level.
We've done a lot of Korean dishes in the past because I've got some great Korean staff that knows how to pay true homage to their culture, and we try to get them involved in those flavors. So I try to get them to make different things, and I was like, that sauce that you did last time, that was amazing. Why don't we try this on? So we make a kimchi bun, so we actually make our own brioche buns with kimchi in it, so you have like a slightly spicy bun. And then we do sweet pickled daikon on the bottom. We have black garlic mayo, so we make our own black garlic in-house, so that's kind of like very umami, kind of like next level up on a garlic mayo. We do pork belly on our flat top and glaze it with a gochujang sauce, so that's kind of like the sweet, smoky, and then we do some salted cucumber on top with more of the gochujang sauce, so it's like super vibrant in flavor, a little bit of heat, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of smoky. It's like Korean barbecue in a burger. The amazing thing about Canada as a culture is we're a melting pot of lots of different cultures, right? So embrace all the cultures that we have here and tell their story. It's the standard, bacon cheeseburger, which is great. Like, no one's gonna go anything wrong with the bacon cheeseburger, but let's do a spin on that, right? So the story that we're saying is you can do something familiar while utilizing the flavors and vibrancy of different cultures, and we're leaning in on the Korean because we've got some amazing Korean staff here.
Food to me is more than flavor. It's connection. It's how we say welcome, how we share a piece of who we are. Every meal tells a story of family, of struggle, of love passed down through recipes. When we sit together and break bread, it reminds us that no matter where we come from, we all speak the same language, the language of good food and good company. Every town's got its food festival. Tacos, beer, barbecue. But out here in Langley, it's burgers. Simple, greasy, familiar. But Burger Month isn't really about what's on the bun. It's about who's around the table. Because a burger's the great equalizer. You can be a farmer or a filmmaker, a newcomer or a fourth-generation local. And when you're holding a burger, you're the same kind of hungry. Langley's Burger Month turns that hunger into connection. Every patty tells a story of fusion, heritage, of risks taken. Korean barbecue meets BC beef. Punjabi spice meets that Langley simplicity. It's not just food, it's a language of belonging. This month, burgers become symbols of creativity, of community, of cultures that don't just live side by side. They blend, sizzle together, and feed something deeper. So yeah, it's Burger Month, but maybe it's also a reminder that food isn't just what we eat. It's how we share where we come from and taste where we're going. In Langley, a burger isn't just a meal, it's a meeting point and a catalyst that brings a town together. There's something special about the way culture finds its way into food. You don't always notice it at first, but it's there, in the spice, the sauce, the soul of the dish. At the Barley Merchant, they've done something beautiful. They've taken the classic North American burger and given it a Korean heartbeat. It's smoky, sweet, and a little spicy. But what makes it special isn't just how it tastes, it's why it exists. Food like this tells a story of people who come here. They bring their recipes, their memories, their tradition, their culture, and they blend them with what they found in a new place. That's culture in motion. That's what makes a burger more than just meat and bread. This Korean-inspired burger isn't just fusion, it's conversation. It's the old world meeting the new, the familiar mixing with the unexpected. Every bite carries a little bit of Langley, a bit of soul, and a whole lot of creativity. Food reminds us that culture doesn't stay still. It travels, it evolves. And when it lands in the right hands, it becomes something worth celebrating. Because when you taste something new, you're not just trying a recipe. You're tasting a story and the people who brought it to life. Well, there it is, folks. At the end of the day, Langley is so much more than just another stop on the #1 road.
It is that mix of destination town, but also these kind of older families who have been here forever, but it's not commercialized at all, and I just feel great about where it is versus where it was. And not that it was bad by any stretch of the imagination, it's just, as somebody who likes to eat, somebody who likes to go out to different places, now people will come out and see me, and they'll be like, oh yeah, come out to see your restaurant. And they're like, I didn't realize there was all this other stuff out here.
It's a budding culinary and cultural hub that's ready to throw its weight around and be around for years to come.
As much as we just want to win the competition, we want to showcase everybody else as well, because that means more people coming out to this area, right? And we don't want to just hit the people that already live in Langley. We want to get the people that don't live in Langley to come out here and try it, all those different places.
Our staffing reflects that as well. We have a multicultural and diverse staff that we're really proud of, and again, we're not trying to be fit in one mold, one corner. We are trying to, like Langley, we are expanding. There are there is that multicultural group, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
That'll do it for Burgers and Belonging, a story of how Langley's Burger Fest brings cultures to the same table. We're your hosts, Braden Goodman.
And I'm Aiden Singh.
Thank you for listening.
If you'd like to read more, please link back to our article on bcitnews.com.
The Oxford Dictionary defines a hamburger as a round patty of ground beef, fried or grilled, and typically served on a bun or roll and garnished with various condiments. But Langley's making it something so much more. Stay hungry, listeners.